Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. My name is Nick.
I'm Ian.
And today we're going to talk about the most popular albums, of course, according to Discogs, for the 2000s. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you click on that link down below and go check out the Vinyl Den Facebook group. Just a cool place to continue the music conversation. There's also a couple other links down there. There's one for the Vinyl Den merch page. We got t-shirts and sweatshirts on there. And then there's also a link for the Vinyl Den Patreon page. If you want to support us, it's always greatly appreciated. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. And what else are you supposed to do? Hit that notification bell, right?
Ding, ding.
So I will preface this conversation by saying that these are the most popular albums by year according to Discogs. So it's not, it's not based off of album sales or anything like that. It's just what albums, users of Discogs have in their collections.
What the most collected and applying the popularity to those albums.
Yes, yeah.
From the way it reads.
So, and actually, if you go on Discogs' website, I think it goes all the way back to the 50s, I think is what the list does.
50s through the 2020s.
So we're just going to look at the 2000s, just, 2000 to 2020. So if you go all the way back to the year 2000, you got Radiohead KIDA, which is actually an album that I don't have.
Nah, me neither, not yet, but I want it.
I know there's a big reissue of KIDA coming out pretty soon, I think. I saw pre-orders up on it on the Vinyl Den Facebook group, but it's an album that I really enjoy. The first, three albums from Radiohead. Kid A, I think I haven't really listened to Kid A in it's probably been 10 years or more since I've listened to it. So it's definitely an album that I need to revisit.
It's one of those albums, too, where, you have people who either think OK Computer is their best album or Kid A. It kind of...
I fall on the OK Computer.
Me, too, generally speaking, but Kid A is a fantastic album, too.
So 2001, you got Discovery by Daft Punk. Daft Punk is they're a great band, but it's another album that I don't have in my collection. Yeah. I know Ian does not have it.
No, I don't. I mean, I've heard some of their stuff, and it's okay. I'm not into electronic music that much.
Yeah.
Like that, but, They did the soundtrack to Tron Legacy, which I like the music in that.
Yeah. 2002, you get Songs for the Deaf by Queens of the Stone Age, which is a fantastic album.
Yeah, I want to get it.
And it's funny, for all the albums I have in my collection, there's quite a few of these albums from the 2000s that I don't have.
Right.
So that's definitely another one that I've got on my list to pick up. Actually, I don't think I've seen it in a store in a while.
It's been a long time for me, too.
2003, you got Elephant by the White Stripes, which of course is a fantastic album. Yeah. I think probably everyone has a copy of this album.
Yeah, either on CD or vinyl.
Yeah, you have it on vinyl too, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I had it on CD as well at one point.
Yeah, it was I think Elephant was probably the first White Stripes album I bought on vinyl. I'm pretty sure.
It wasn't. I bought their debut album.
Did you?
The first one I bought, yeah.
I think Elephant's probably my favorite album of theirs. But 2004 is an album that I don't really know much about. This is Funeral by Arcade Fire.
Yeah, I don't know much about their music either. I don't think I've ever listened to them. But maybe I have to check them out.
Yeah, because I'm always on the lookout for new
stuff,
new and interesting music. So, I mean, there must be a bunch of people that love that album because it's on there for 2004. And then for 2005, of course, you get Demon Days by Gorillaz, which is a fantastic album. But
I'm not a huge Gorillaz fan, but there are a couple tracks on that album that I really do like.
Yeah, it is a really good album. So for 2006, you've got Amy Winehouse, Back to Black, which was an absolutely huge album that year. And it's an album that I probably didn't really give a fair shot to until probably within the last several years.
When did she die?
I don't remember. 2007, 2008.
I was just wondering if maybe the popularity was spurred on by after her death.
Back to Black is an incredible album. It's an album that if you haven't heard it, I definitely encourage you to go back and check out. It's a lot more than the couple of hit singles that were off of that album.
I think I've only heard a couple of those.
Yeah, it's a fantastic album. 2007 is an album that I probably would rate a little higher than Kid A, and that's In Rainbows.
It's a great album.
It is a great
It's hard to
album.
argue between the two, to be honest with you.
I think Radiohead in the 2000s have been one of those bands I think have kind of flown under the radar for the most part.
A lot, yeah.
But they've created some great music.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never heard a Radiohead album that I didn't like.
Yeah.
So
2008, of course, you've got Death Magnetic, which I don't know. Death Magnetic, I think, was the album that kind of brought me back into Metallica.
I would say me too, because it was kind of more to form for them after Saint Anger.
Yeah.
But I actually think Hardwired to Self-Destruct is a better album than Death Magnetic.
I agree with you,
But
which is funny because I didn't really feel that way when Hardwire was first released.
Yeah.
Hardwire is one of those albums that I think kind of grew on me a little bit
Right.
over the last couple of years. But yeah, I do agree with you now about that.
Yeah. But Death Magnetic's a great album. Again, I don't really have a problem with any of Metallica's albums. I like them all, but Death Magnetic isn't in my. It's not like top 1 or 2. It's like 4 or 5. I guess.
For 2009, it's another album that I don't really know anything about it, and this is the XX. I don't know.
Self-titled album, maybe.
I don't know anything about this album, but it's another one that I'll definitely go and check out because it was popular enough to be on this list.
And if any of you know anything about that album, post comment below.
Drop us a comment and let us know for sure. But for 2010, this is Arcade Fire, the Suburbs. I think I've only heard maybe 3 tracks off this album. Did you find it yet, Ian?
Sorry, I had to scroll it. For some reason, it jumped all the way ahead. But
it does. It does do that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with any of Arcade Fire's music.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of the tracks. So it's definitely an album I should probably go back and check out for sure. For 2011, you've got 21 by ADELE, which I didn't realize ADELE was doing a new album. I thought she had retired from music altogether. So I know she's got her new album coming out here pretty soon. So 21, it's a fantastic album. It's probably my favorite ADELE album.
I remember when it came out, it was huge. It's not really my kind of music really, but when she shortly after that, it was a year after that, she did the Skyfall song for the movie Skyfall. I like that song a lot.
Yeah,
but
which is probably my favorite Bond song.
It's not mine, but it's definitely
it's definitely up there for sure. But 21 by ADELE is an absolutely fantastic album, and one that I do have on vinyl. Though I've got the one for 2012 on vinyl also. This is Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. This is when Kendrick Lamar kind of came into the public consciousness. It's Good Kid, Mad City. It's a really good album. I think Damn is probably a better album overall, but Good Kid, Mad City has some absolutely great tracks on it. I guarantee you Ian has not heard a single track off either one of those albums.
Nope, I have no opinion whatsoever.
For 2013, you got Random Access Memories by Daft Punk. What can you say about this album? It is a fantastic album. Like you said earlier, it's not really my kind of music, but that is a really good album for sure. 2014, you get this is the kind of one that I thought was kind of interesting for this list because it's Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Volume 1.
It is a compilation album.
Yeah, to have a compilation album out there for the most popular album for a year. It is a really great soundtrack.
Oh, absolutely.
It's hit after hit on there.
Even songs that I was familiar with, but hadn't heard in ages, and wasn't like super familiar with. Just know I'd heard them.
Yeah.
But kind of being reintroduced to them through that soundtrack was nice.
Yeah. And then 2015, you got Currents by Tame Impala. It's an album that I think I've only listened to once. My son Jack actually bought this on vinyl probably maybe a year and a half ago. And we spun it after he bought the album, and I think it's really the only time I've listened to it. It is a good album. It's one that, I'll probably... There's nothing that really stood out to me. It's not a bad album. There's no bad tracks on it. But there's nothing that just grabbed me right away on it.
Is it hip hop?
No.
Is it rock?
It's a little bit everything.
I've never listened to it, if you hadn't noticed.
For 2016, of course, you got BLACKSTAR by David Bowie. I mean, it's a fantastic album, and I think it's probably my favorite. it's probably my favorite or second favorite Bowie album since the early 80s.
I can buy that.
I'd say probably Let's Dance is probably my favorite of the last 30 years. And then probably BLACKSTAR would probably
BLACKSTAR is a fantastic album. And it's just, it's very emotional too because it was released like the week he died.
Yeah.
It might have even been like 2 or 3 days around his death.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of like emotion around that album for people who are fans of David Bowie. You know, for sure.
It is a great album though. Absolutely.
And it is a very good album.
2017, you got Damn by Kendrick Lamar. I mean, it's just, in my opinion, it's probably the, I'd say probably in the top 3 as far as definitely in top 5. I'll say top 5 rap albums of the 2000s. It's just a great album. And one that, if you are a rap fan and you haven't listened to Damn, definitely make sure you check that out because it's a fantastic album. 2018, you got Prequel by Ghost. Have you listened?
I like this album a lot. Yeah. I wouldn't say that Ghost is a kind of a shtick band because they're not. They do the makeup and stuff like that, but their songs are really good.
Yeah.
And if you're not into that whole shtick and you just listen to the music, it still works really well. Prequel is a great album. It's got one of my favorite Ghost songs on it, which is Rats. So definitely a good album.
Then 2019, you got When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish is one of those artists I kind of go back and forth on.
Right.
And that my daughter was a fan of her music when this album came out, so we bought this on vinyl. I've listened to it a couple of times. The album that she did with her brother was live at Third Man Records. Came out for Record Store Day. That was absolutely fantastic. And the live at Third Man Records kind of got me to go back and listen to some of her stuff. I think we've joked about it being like whisper rock. And
I was just gonna say I didn't know that was the name of her album. I'm like, When We Fall Asleep was when we listened to you sing.
But no, this is a really good album, and it. I've listened to her new album a couple of times too. I tend to, if I'm going to pick one of her albums to listen to, it's going to be this album over any of her other stuff. But it is a really good album.
Seems like she's starting to redefine herself too.
I think so. And then for 2020, of course, you got Folklore by Taylor Swift, which is an album that I've got probably 5 copies of behind me. Did you find it there, Ian? Yeah,
for some reason when I click on it, it jumps to the bottom.
Yeah, that's what the site does. Have you listened to Folklore?
I have not.
Folklore is I know people see Taylor Swift and think like pop, because that's what her last several albums have been. Folklore is a very different album. It's very stripped down. She recorded it in her studio, in her house in Nashville, I believe is where it was recorded at. And it just, she collaborated with, I forgot what the guy's name is, but he's from the National. But overall, it's just a fantastic album, and it's one that it was probably my first or second favorite album of last year. It's a great album. Well, that's all we got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Drop us a comment down below and let us know what you guys think for the top albums of the 2000s according to Discogs. Of course, like I said, it's not based off of album sales or any opinions or anything like that. It's just
I mean, there's a lot of great albums in there. I mean, it'd be hard pressed to deny that on an opinion level. Mm-hmm. But based on collectability and other people, what's in your collection, it might be very.
There's definitely a couple albums on there. Like I said, I don't know anything about, so I do need to go back and check out some of those albums. But I don't know. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give us the old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell. That's all we got. Until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Keep on spinning. Peace.